Heroes and Vampires. Part 5. Ash remains. The fire from the last escape still smoked behind them, painting the distant trees in wavering light. What was left of the group, just 4 now, moved through the ashes of what used to be a town square. Boots scraped on glass. Blood had dried into the stone. They'd lost 2 more during the flight from the city. Kellen didn't make it through the night. The bleeding wouldn't stop. The woman who carried him, Sarah, vanished during a second ambush at the river crossing. They heard her scream once. Now, only 4 remained. Drew walked beside Zara, her tiny hand wrapped around 2 of his fingers, eyes darting, tired but alert. The others, Cam and Tay-Tay, kept close, watchful. They'd all seen too much and lost more. Jax walked alone ahead of them, silent, broad-shouldered, covered in dried blood and pieces of armor that barely held together. His breath came in shallow bursts, like each one hurt more than the last. The edges of his skin still smoked from the last transformation. The monster inside him wasn't sleeping anymore. It paced, it watched, it waited. They made camp inside the ruins of an old high school. Broken bleachers, rusted weight racks, scorched banners hung limp like surrender flags. In a locker room deep underground, the final plan was laid out. "We hit the nest tomorrow," Drew said, laying a weathered map across a bench. "What's left of the city stadium? That's where they're feeding now, where Rakal feeds." He didn't say the name like it belonged to something living. He said it like he was speaking of a curse. "The old locker rooms are blood wells," Tay said. "Massive ones, dug into the plumbing and filtration systems. Hundreds, maybe thousands, of civilians still inside." "Any chance of survivors?" Cam asked. Drew looked up. "There's always a chance, until you see the bones." Jax didn't speak. He hovered near the door, half in shadow, eyes glowing faintly in the dim light. His fingers twitched against the wall, like they wanted to tear into something just to feel it die. "Jax," Drew said gently, "this isn't your burden alone." Jax looked at him. "Yes, it is. You'll die if you go in alone." "Then I die." Cam stood. "He's not listening. He's not even here anymore." "I'm here," Jax growled. "You just don't want to know what part of me is answering." Tay broke the tension. "We go in together, plant the charges, free who we can, kill what we can't. And if Rakal shows up," she looked at Jax, "let the monster out." The stadium loomed like a decayed coliseum, its outer shell blackened with fire scars. Towering walls twisted with rusted scaffolding and overgrowth. The vampire banners still flew, stitched together from clothing, skin, and bones. They waited for night. It wasn't safe during the day either, but night was worse, for everyone. Drew led the infiltration through a cracked vendor tunnel, Zara strapped to his back. Cam and Tay moved fast behind him. Jax entered last, breathing deep, tasting blood in the air before they'd even crossed the threshold. Inside, the reek was unbearable. Rot, metal, old screams. They moved quickly, planting charges on pipes that pulsed with warm blood. Above them, vampires shifted in the rafters, watching, curious, like cats watching mice build a bomb. In the central arena, the pit had been transformed. Cages, chains, humans with skin like paper and eyes like glass. IV lines hooked directly into the floor, pumps churning. It wasn't feeding, it was harvesting. Cam reached to unchain a man, but a shape dropped behind him. Fangs, claws, pale blur. The scream was brief. Then the nest woke. Dozens of vampires fell from the sky. They didn't speak, didn't hiss. They just attacked. Jaws unhinged, bones snapping as they collided with steel and flesh. cam was lost instantly. Tay screamed his name, firing until her pistol clicked dry, then drawing her blades and cutting one down with a scream. Drew shielded Zara with his body, shouting for Jax. But Jax wasn't there anymore. The air changed, warped, like something thick and primal had just entered the world. And then it did. Jax tore into the pit with a howl so loud it cracked glass. Bones snapped as his spine arched and expanded. His skin split in seams. Fur pushed through muscle. His eyes rolled white, then flared yellow. The werewolf form burst forward, massive, wild, unstoppable. Fangs the size of a man's forearm, limbs corded with strength. Not just monstrous, mythic. He hit the floor like a meteor, slamming 2 vampires into paste. Another lunged from the side. He caught it midair and bit its head off. Shadows tried to surround him, but he moved too fast. Through flesh and through fire, he carved. The vampires screamed. Some even fled. It didn't matter. He chased them. Walls cracked. Cages exploded. A blood pump ruptured, spraying red across the sky like rain. Then, Rakal appeared. Not walking, not running, emerging. Flowing through flame and darkness like a god of plague. 7 feet tall, shadow clinging to him like smoke, veins glowing, eyes ancient and cruel. His mouth opened wide, 4 distinct flaps folding back from his skull, revealing teeth like polished ivory blades. He didn't roar. He simply raised one long finger and pointed. Jax lunged. They met midair in a collision of claw and shadow, fury and malice. Rakal's tendrils lashed around Jax's throat, slicing deep. Jax's claws found Rakal's ribs, tearing through meat and bone. They crashed into the central spire, bringing it down in a rain of fire and steel, fighting like beasts. One for survival, one for dominance. Tay grabbed Zara and ran. Drew covered their escape, dragging what was left of the blood bags out of the fire. Screams echoed around them, but no one could stop what was happening in the pit. Rakal coiled shadows around Jax's head, choking him, trying to drown the man inside the monster. Jax ripped through it, howling so loud the earth itself cracked. And finally, it ended. Jax's claws pierced Rakal's chest and didn't stop. He tore the ancient vampire apart piece by piece. First the heart, then the skull, then everything else. When it was over, the stadium was cinders. Jax stood in the center of the carnage, panting, bleeding from 100 places. His eyes were dimming, fading, his limbs shaking. Zara approached slowly. She was barefoot now, ash on her skin, cuts on her arms. She walked with the quiet bravery only children understand. Too young to grasp death, but old enough to feel love. She reached up and took his clawed hand into hers. "You're still him," she whispered. And that was enough. Jax didn't speak, didn't shift back. He just turned and vanished into the dark. Weeks passed. The survivors rebuilt what they could. Tay led raids. Drew trained new blood. Zara stayed close to him, always holding something. A picture, a broken necklace, a worn jacket. They called themselves Back in Blood now. And every night before they locked down camp, someone would look at the forest line, where the trees were broken, where the shadows moved, and they'd whisper, "Wherever you are, Jax, keep fighting. Because legends don't die. They burn. And what's left becomes the fire others follow." Thanks for watching Heroes and Vampires. If you enjoyed this story, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss an episode. Got a taste for more dark and thrilling tales? head over to my other channel, Cryptid Encounter Stories, where we dive into terrifying creatures, urban legends, and cryptid encounters. And if you're hungry for even more, be sure to check out my book, Fall of the Order, available now in ebook, audiobook, and paperback online. Until next time, stay safe and stay in the light.